Student, today we are going to learn 10th standard chapter number 6 animal classification. In this chapter we are going to focus on criteria for animal system of classification. In our today's lecture we are going to see what are different criterias, on the basis of which different criteria we can classify living organism. First criteria for classification of living organism is a grade of organization. Second criteria is body symmetry. Third is germ layer. Fourth is body cavity. And fifth criteria is body segmentation. First criteria for new system of classification of organisms is grade of organization. As we all know that the body of living organism is made up of cell. In case of multicellular, many cells are performing different functions in their body, while in unicellular animal, as their body is made up of single cell, all functions are performed by only one cell. Okay, so the first in a grade of organization, first we have a protoplasmic grade. Protoplasmic grade of organization, these animals are unicellular, so their single cells will perform all kind of function, okay, which is known as protoplasmic grade of organization. The second we have is cellular grade of organization. In case of multicellular animal, if tissues are not formed, okay, so their body organization is called as cellular grade of organization. All porifera living organisms, they will comes under cellular grade of organization. Third grade of organization is cell tissue grade of organization. In case of some animal, cells comes together to form tissues, with the help of which these animals perform their function. So such living organisms comes under cell tissue grade of organization. Here you can see all kind of Cnidaria living organisms, jellyfish, they will comes under what? Cellular cell tissue grade of organization. After tissue, the next comes what? Organ, tissue organ grade. Okay, in tissue organ grade, here you can see two examples. These are the examples of flatworms. Flatworms show tissue organ grade of organization. In this type of organization, tissues are organized to form some organs. However, complete organ systems are not present in these living organisms. And final one we have is organ system grade of organization, where living organisms have specific organs for performing different function. Organ systems are present in these living organisms. Here we can see there is a frog, then birds are there, human beings are there, fishes are there. So they all have different organ system to perform different functions in their body. In this body symmetry criteria, we have to take imaginary line which divide body of living organism into equal half. Here we can have few examples. Okay, here we have starfish, crab, fly, pigeon and sponges. Okay, is it possible to have imaginary line which divide their body in an equal half? Here in crab this is possible, in flies also it is possible, in pigeon also this is possible, and here in starfish we can draw many imaginary lines, okay, which can divide their body in a equal parts. But here in a sponges that is not possible, because sponges they do not have the proper shape. So if we will draw imaginary line also, so that will not gives us a equal parts. Okay, so if body of any animal is cut through imaginary axis of body, it may or may not produce two equal halves. Depending upon this property, there are three different types of animal's body. First one is asymmetrical body. Here in asymmetrical body, you can see one of an example. If we divide an imaginary line over here, we will not get an equal part. Okay, so there is no any such imaginary axis of the body through which we can get two equal half. So such type of living organisms are known as asymmetrical body living organism. Then the next one is radial symmetry. Now here you can see this living organism. In this living organism, if imaginary line cut passes through the central axis but any plane of a body, it gives two equal half. For example, here we have an example of hydra. We can even take an example of starfish, okay, where the line is passing through the center of a body. So such type of line is known as, such type of symmetry is known as radial symmetry. Okay. Now the third types of symmetry that we have is bilateral symmetry. In this type of body symmetry, there is only one such imaginary axis of body through which we get two equal half. Okay, here in this animal you can see we can draw only one plane which can divide body into equal half. So such type of body symmetry is known as bilateral symmetry. Now let's take few more examples. Here again three animals are there. In first one, do we have any kind of symmetrical line, imaginary line? No. So this one will be asymmetrical. And in middle one, what we have, what kind of a symmetry we have? Line is passing, that plane is passing through the center. Okay, so such type is known as the radially symmetrical body. And the final one, here we have an insect. So this insect, there is only one imaginary line. So this is known as bilaterally symmetrical body. Okay. In case of multicellular animals, germ layers are formed during initial period of their embryonic development, and from those germ layers only different tissues are formed in the body. In case of some animal, only two germ layers are present. Okay, all cnidarian, they have only two types of germ layer. Outer layer is known as ectoderm and inner layer is known as endoderm. Okay, and in some living organism, most of other living organisms, there are three types of germ layer. Outer layer in both of this embryo is ectoderm. Why it is ectoderm? Because it is present outside. So this one is ectoderm, and the innermost one, which is known as endoderm, as it is situated inside, or inside cells are there. So they are known as endoderm. Okay, over here in this structure, this part is representing what? This part is representing dead cells. Okay, so here there are dead cells present, but here in this particular structure, here you can see middle one, there are different cells or tissues are present. So there are different cells and tissues present over here. This layer of tissues are known as mesoderm. So in some living organism, there is only two germ layer, and in some living organisms there are three germ layers are present. Okay, so on the basis of this, they are classified as diploblastic and triploblastic living organism. Fourth criteria for animal classification is body cavity. Cavity between the body and internal organ is called as body cavity or coelom. In case of multicellular animals, during initial period of their embryonic development, body cavity is formed from either mesoderm or gut. Okay, such type of a body cavity is present in animals of phylum Annelida, and all the other phylums come after Annelida. Okay, here you can see earthworm, structure of earthworm. So earthworm will come in what? Annelida category. and after Annelida, whichever living organisms phylums are there, they all are coelomate. They have true body cavity. Here you can see there is a true body cavity in these living organisms. Okay, and acoelomate. Acoelomate means your living organism, they do not have any body cavity at all. Okay, so such living organism such as Cnidaria and Platyhelminthes, these living organisms are acoelomate. They do not have any body cavity. And in case of some living organisms, okay, there is a body cavity present, but this is not a true body cavity. Okay, such living organisms, such body cavity is known as pseudocoelomate. Here in this structure you can see the first one. Here there is no body cavity at all, so such type of living organisms will consider as what? Acoelomate. Okay, here there is a body cavity, but this is not a true body cavity, so we will call it pseudocoelomate. And final one is what? True body cavity. So such living organisms are known as eucoelomate. Last criteria for animal classification is body segmentation. If the body of animal is divided into small similar unit, then such body is known as segmented body. Okay, over here you can see in these three example, earthworm, leech and a cockroach. On these living organism we can see their body, there are small segmented, there are segments which are present, linings which are present. Okay, so these are known as what? Segments. So their body is divided into what? Their body is divided into segment, a small unit. Such living organisms have segmented body. And some living organism, they do not have segments on their body, so their body is asegmented. So in our today's lecture we have discussed about criteria for classification of living organism, that is grade of organization, body symmetry, germ layer, body cavity and body segmentation. Thank you everyone.